don't think the American public cares who does the background checks. What the American public cares about is to see the mandate that they voted in delivered upon. The FBI, I think the American public's got great concerns about how weaponized it's become.
Joining me now, Mollie Hemingway, editor-in-chief at The Federalist, and Mary Katharine Ham, both are Fox News contributors. Mollie, what is this really all about?
Well, there are two different issues here. One is that you do want to vet people who are going to be in the administration. The president-elect has an interest in making sure that these people are good. The Senate has an advise and consent role from the U.S. Constitution. But the idea that the FBI gets to exert veto power over the president's nominees after the last 8 years of what they've done, you might remember the FBI, James Comey ran the Russia collusion hoax. They sent agents over to entrap the national security advisor. They leaked like sieves with any information they had. It's a completely corrupted department. There are still good people there, but overall it's a very corrupt agency. And the Department of Justice, of course, like you just talked about throughout the top part of the show, was engaged in trying to imprison and bankrupt Donald Trump. The idea that these are people who could in any way vet whether a candidate is good or not, and that they would be trusted to do that, it's laughable.
Yeah, Mary Katharine, I mean, you got Daniel Goldman from New York, who's always known as just the font of objectivity and unbiased analysis. He was speaking out about the Senate's role here. Watch.
With some of his cabinet picks, Donald Trump is well on his way to dismantling our government and the way that it operates. And we and Congress, the Republicans especially in the Senate, need to be a check and balance to ensure that our government continues to function for the people.
Mary Katharine, they literally tried to take him off the ballot using the 14th Amendment, and he's going to dismantle corruption, maybe.
Yeah, sure, Dan, we'll take that under advisement. The idea that by getting elected by the popular vote and the Electoral College and then naming people to his cabinet, he's dismantling the government, seems insane to me. And I would like to echo Mollie with the idea that the FBI should be trusted by a Trump transition team. I cannot express how wild that is without using cuss words. I'm having trouble because these people were engaged in the most egregious behavior, lying to the FISA court to literally spy on members of his campaign. And then they're going to come down to Mar-a-Lago and be like, we got this. Let us vet everyone for you. I just think there are other ways to do that. The Senate has a job to advise and consent, not under Dan Goldman's direction, but under the Constitution's. And there can be other entities that do vetting. And I just do not think under any circumstances that Trump should be like, sure, come on down, guys.
Well, Mollie, you also have the issue with some establishment Republicans tonight. They need to, flap their wings. And you had Kevin Cramer, Senator Cramer, going to a conference in Halifax. And I think this was originally reported by Politico. And he goes and he says, well, the Republicans are going to agree with most of what Trump does. But basically reassuring our allies that things are not going to fly off the hinges. And it was just, I don't know, I got a really bad feeling from it. It was Mike Rounds, excuse me. It was not Kevin Cramer. I don't know why I keep mixing up both of those individuals. It was Mike Rounds who did it, but another semi-establishment figure.
Right. Well, the American people just had their say, and they said it pretty decisively, that they do not think that the way that the establishment in D.C., the permanent bureaucracy in D.C. has been running things, has been going well for the country. And so the Senate, whether they're Republican or Democrat, would be wise to heed those overwhelming election results, which also, by the way, resulted in the Republicans getting a majority on those coattails of Donald Trump's decisive victory. People aren't looking for more of the same. They are looking for fresh voices. I know these establishment figures think that just more of the same is what's going to be good for the next 4 years. But the American people think that we have major problems in a lot of these agencies, and they're looking for Trump to fulfill his campaign promises. He'll need a cabinet to do that. And so the Senate, again, they have every right to decide for themselves, whether these people are fitting or not, but they should be more responsive to the will of the American people too.
Kevin Cramer, Mike Rounds, we love you, but let's get it all together before Inauguration Day. Let's just take a breath and try to enjoy the holiday season and see what comes of it. Mary Katharine, Mollie, thank you both.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.